What is going on, Phantom Forces Phantom Base? Coming at you with our team builder for week 1 of the IBL Season 7. The New York Cosmonautics are going up against Brendan, aka Dark Devil 26, and his Vegas Golden Corviknights. I'm still getting used to that team name. I've known him as the Marlboro Mudsdales for as long as I can remember. Anyway, with this, I want to thank you guys so much for joining this little discussion as we go into a teaching time where I'm going to where my structure and kind of my way of going about this as far as team builders go is a slight bit different than how most people do it. Most people kind of just pull up their team and say, hey, this is what I got, this is what some of my stuff can do. This stuff looks pretty good here. I'm going to give you guys a little insight to my head a little bit as to what I decided to bring, when I decided to add it to the team, why I decided to add it to the team, what function it serves to accomplish the goal of, and how I plan to win the game. Now, we're going to look. So first off, let's go ahead and pull up the team matchup. Let me see if I can find it. It's fourth wall breaking. I actually don't have it with me. There we go. So the team we got rocking here. I mean, you'll see our teams listed here, but he's got Necrozma, G-Max, Lapras, Mimikyu, Alolan Persian, Conkeldurr, Sandaconda, Weezing, Rapidash, Trampa, Togedemaru, and Butterfree. Now, looking at this team, we're gonna go through this in kind of this kind of how I built my team thing in kind of a structured format. So, the first bit, we're gonna talk about my threats and his threats. We're going to talk about how I plan to combat his threats and how I plan to capitalize on my threats. So, and then we're going to talk about like what I'm bringing essentially, and you'll see how I built the team, like how I came up with the idea. So, the first thing I noticed about his team is that it's rather slow. He has one mod that outspeeds the rest of my team, but or besides Ribombee. But that mon is not exactly something that wants to deal with a lot of my offense. For example, I've got things like Keldeo and Gardevoir and Ribombee that do massive work to Alolan Persian. Appleton kind of just sits there in front of it as well. Umbreon can kind of wall it for days. Quillfish, if it's the right set, can beat it 1v1. It's just Alolan Persian I don't think matches up well here, as far as speed tiers and just the offense in general. So, as far as the threats from him, that's what I want to focus on first. Is that the threats that he could bring versus me. Necrozma is a demon. The new toys they got this generation are just scary. Dragon Dance, for one thing, is just terrifying. Ooh, I need to stop yawning. Dragon Dance is just a terrifying a terrifying move that this thing got access to. So that's scary. G-Max Lapras is kind of a 50-50 bring. He could bring it, he could not. I see him bringing it only because he needs a check to my Melmetal that is not going to take 50% from a double Iron Bash and it's G-Maxed. So, another mon I see coming is Conkeldurr because I have 0 switch-ins to that monster. Combination of Close Combat and Facade and Knockoff really just destroy my entire team. And then Mach Punch for cover. Since this thing got Close Combat, there are no switch-ins. If Paladon is 2-hit KO'd, even if I'm Fizz Death, I have to bring Dusclops, which is destroyed by Knockoff. Especially if he's Flame War boosted. Obviously Melmetal gets mollywopped by Close Combat, Keldeo Close Combat, Ribombee gets blown away by Facade, same with Gardevoir. Quillfish can kind of semi-soft check it with Intimidate, but even then Facade's still gonna hurt. Mr. Rhyme can take... Mr. Rhyme gets blown away. Just, again, Dusclops, like I said, knock off, and then the best thing, and then you get Facade down my Appleton pretty easily, even from G-Max, so really the thing's kind of a problem, and I've got to have my ways to check it. Now, luckily it's slow, which is why it's not going to be as much of an issue. So essentially, the biggest threats I see him bringing, he brings Necrozma 100%, because there's no reason not to versus my team. My best check to it is Umbreon, and that thing can honestly just be annoying with like a Calm Mind Iron Defense set. If he wants to bring like 2 attacks, so like Heat Wave and Photon Geyser, or if he wants to bring a Calm Mind 3 attack set with like Heat Wave, Photon Geyser, and maybe Flash Cannon or something like that, or if he wants to bring a physical set with like Photon Geyser, like Dragon Dance, Photon Geyser, Iron Head, and coverage move here, like EQ, that would not be a good thing for me to see either. I also expect him to see G-Max Lapras to set up screens, or to set up Veil for his Necrozma or his Kinkeldurr. I do expect Kinkeldurr in a Guts fashion. I expect a Flame Orb set with like Mach Punch, Close Combat, Facade, and Knockoff. Those are like the 4 moves I expect him to bring. I expect to see either Sandaconda or Weezing to check Melmetal, because a neutralizing gas Weezing takes like 35% from Adamant Double Iron Bash. It's stupid, unless I'm Bandit, but even then it's not 2-hit KO'd. And Flamethrower or Fire Blast could 2-hit KO Melmetal. So Weezing is a really good check to it. Sandaconda, it not only outspeeds it, but if it's running like, say, a Sand, well, I won't see Sand Spit because I have Hippo that can capitalize on that. But I'd see a Shed Skin set with Rocky Helmet coming if he brings Sandaconda. If he doesn't bring Sandaconda, I see a Rocky Helmet neutralizing gas Weezing coming. So I see Togedemaru coming, and there's a reason for that, because my offense is weak to its dual stab. The faster offense that I have, then it is weak to its dual stab. So he can spam Zing Zap pretty free this game, and the only way he gets around is either with the Toxic to hit my hit Paladin on the switch, or he U-turns. That's the only way he really gets away with it. The last mon is up in the air. He could bring Sandaconda and Weezing, which would totally make sense. He could bring Alolan Persian as a speed control, but really I could also see Drampa as a Defogger, or like a 3 attacks Berserker Breaker with like a Roost or something like that. So really the 6 I expect him to bring are Necrozma, Lapras, Kinkeldurr, Sandaconda, Togedemaru, and Drampa. And honestly, the main reason I see Sandaconda more than Weezing is because Sandaconda the ground spam is just really good for versus my team. As far like I have 1 ground resist, or 2 ground resist, one being Appleton, the other one being Ribombee. And Ribombee is not a switch in really, unless I'm like bulky. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into my threats to him. Melmetal destroys his team. The combination of Double Iron Bash and Earthquakes go absolutely nuts versus this team. And with the right coverage move, I could hit Sandaconda for super effective damage, or I could hit Lapras for super effective damage. Keldeo is a phenomenal win condition this game, because Persian can't do jack crap to me. A Calm Mind set can set up a Lapras if he's running Freeze Dry instead of Thunderbolt or Psychic, and when he's G-Max, it doesn't treat like Freeze Dry does. So I could actually sub up on that if I bring the right set. Keldeo also threatens Weezing and Sandaconda pretty freely, and a non-Scarf Togedemaru. Excuse me. Another Pokemon that I see that does really well versus this team is Mr. Rime, actually. His Psychic is really good versus this team overall. He has very few switch-ins to it. Those 2 switches being Togedemaru and Necrozma. Persian is not going to want to switch into Mr. Rime, so if I click Ice Beam, that's a 2-hit KO. It's going to be a 2-hit KO regardless. Persian is so weak Spidef and HP wise, and then an Ice Beam is just going to hurt really bad. Cause I think it has base, what, 110 in special attack or something like that? It's something stupid. Like, Mr. Rime is ridiculous. Another mon that I see here is a good potential win condition is Gardevoir. And those are like the 4 mons that are really new that could do really well here. So when I started building, I looked at those and I said, okay, the first mons I know I'm going to bring Keldeo. That is not a Keldeo, that is a Kecleon. We're going to bring Keldeo. We're going to bring Melmetal. We're going to bring Gardevoir. And actually, oh no, I did. I knew I was bringing Mr. Rime. Those are the 4 that I knew were coming right off the bat. Now, as far as Melmetal goes, well, first, let's go into the team. this is kind of the order in which I threw things together. We're gonna do this together. So first thing I knew is that looking at this team, Lapras gets Water Absorb, and Togedemaru gets Lightning Rod. I want Trace on my Gardevoir so that in case they do bring those things, we can capitalize on them, especially if like Togedemaru is locked into Zing Zap, because I do expect to Scarf Togedemaru this game, honestly. That thing could be a real problem to my team if I don't handle it properly. Now, that being said, that was all I knew. I knew Gardevoir wanted Moonblast, and that was all I knew for you. Melmetal, I knew right off the bat I wanted Double Iron Bash, and I wanted Earthquake. That was what I knew for you. Keldeo, I didn't know what kind of set I wanted on you yet, but I knew for you what speed I needed you to hit, and that was going to be 164 Timid. That's because that outspeeds max speed Togedemaru. The reason I did not creep, and listen to me here, the reason I did not creep Rapidash is because Rapidash is not coming this game. I have two water types and a Hippowdon that destroy Rapidash. Okay? There's no... And then on top of that, Gardevoir Tracing Flash Fire, if it's a Scarf Rapidash, it's another reason why Gardevoir is so good this game with Trace. Okay? There's just zero reason for him to bring Rapidash this game. If he brings Rapidash this game, it will be a liability. Now, that's the whole point behind me doing that. I actually think, if I remember correctly, Togedemaru, the max speed, does it hit, Okay, so yeah, I did creep it right. Well, I mean, that's good, I knew I did, but my thing was I didn't know if I was creeping a creep. So no, what we're doing is we're creeping Togedemaru because, really, Rapidash doesn't threaten us out. And he wouldn't bring a max speed Rapidash anyway, he would bring enough speed on Rapidash to creep my Morpeko. But Morpeko can't really come this game either because Sandaconda kind of just sits in front of it, can kill it with threats of a Mach Punch. Persian threatens it. Necrozma doesn't care too much. Mimikyu threatens it. That was another reason why I wanted Keldeo to make sure I could outspeed Mimikyu as well, because funny enough, Mimikyu and Togedemaru hit the same speed tier. Now, as far as Melmetal goes, what I knew for this thing is I wanted it to have max HP, near max HP, because what I decided pretty much right after I decided this Keldeo spread was like, I want to calc something real quick, and I calc that this HP spread allows me to substitute on Togedemaru, and no one move it can go for can break my sub, which means I'm going to run a leftover set this week. And with this, I decided to calc the rest of the way into this set and finish it out. And I discovered that 164 in attack was all the attack I needed to one-hit KO Mimikyu through the disguise. So, and essentially, one double Iron Bash hit is doing 100%. That was the point. One double Iron Bash hit is doing 100%, so I can break the disguise and then kill it. And then the rest, and that also meant that if I was going to run, that meant the last move I needed is to be able to hit things like, honestly, my last move I wanted to be able to hit Lapras a little harder because double Iron Bash wasn't going to actually. I don't know if double Iron Bash was going to actually do it. Can't remember. I don't know why I ran. All I know is I ran Thunder Punch as my last move, and I don't remember why. Honestly, there wasn't much of a reason to run that, but I know I did, and I think it was to hit. I think it was just to hit Lapras on the. That's what it was. In the event that you brought Max Lightning Lapras or Thunderbolt Lapras, and he set up the terrain, Thunder Punch did more than double Iron Bash, and so I wanted to make sure that I could hit Lapras a little bit harder if that were the case. It also gives me a pretty safe way to hit things like, it gave me a way to hit something like, I don't even remember what else it was for. That was pretty much the case, is so that Thunder Punch was boosted by Electric Terrain if you brought Max Lightning on it. So this was the Melmetal set I had, and I was like, okay, we're going to build around this a little bit. And then I decided, okay, if we're going to run Substitute on this, I want to bring Qwilfish, because with an Intimidate set and Toxic Spikes, Substitute on this is going to be really annoying for Brendan to deal with. which also gave me some ideas for my Keldeo set, which I actually now decided on. So we are going to run Surf, Secret Sword, Substitute, and Calm Mind, because like I said earlier, a sub Calm Mind Keldeo really can put in some work and potentially clean the game near the end. Now here's where things get a little funny. This special attack investment is all I need at +1 to OHKO most of the things on his team that I need to OHKO. For example, +1 Secret Sword, 1-shots Max HP Lapras, 1-shots Alolan Persian, +1 Surf can 2-hit KO Spadef Weezing, +1 Secret Sword 1-shots Drampa unless he's like Super Spadef or Super Fizdef. So really, the reason for this, and also this HP investment allows me so that when I get to +1 with a Calm Mind, I'm not 2-hit KO'd by Freeze Dry from Lapras. That was the whole point. And so that means we're also running leftovers on this thing, but we're obviously offensive Keldeo. So we're looking pretty good with the subcore here. Now for Mr. Rime, the first thing I knew is I want a screen cleaner, because I knew if he brings Lapras, I need a way to remove the screens, and I didn't want to have to resort to Brick Break because he does have Mimikyu that could capitalize on that, as well as Butterfree. So what I wanted was to just be able to switch in and get rid of the screens instantly. So I knew I needed to bring a Mr. Rime that could capitalize, and I spent a long time on this set. I went back and forth a lot of times. Originally I had an offensive set. Originally I had a set with safety goggles to check Butterfree, and so I sat there and realized Butterfree's not coming this game. Because, for one thing, he's either got to bring Sash or Heavy Duty Boots. If he's Heavy Duty Boots, then he loses 2 Melmetal. Or if he's Heavy Duty Boots, then what I can, honestly, is pretty easy for my Qwilfish to taunt it. Because what I plan to do with this Qwilfish is actually, this was the spread I came up with rather quickly. I ran near max HP, I ran enough speed to creep Necrozma with the rest in special defense, and then we're going to run with Dual Jab, Poison Jab, and Liquidation with obvious black sludge. Now Mr. Rime, here's another mon that I decided to, so this was a set that I came up with pretty quickly, and after I got these two finished I was like, okay, I want to go back to look at Gardevoir and Mr. Rime for a second. Mr. Rime, like I said, he went through a couple of different phases, but I ultimately decided on this particular set. We're going to run Heavy Duty Boots with Ice Beam, Psychic, Rapid Spin, and Slack Off. Now, you may be asking why this set? Why not Ice Shard? Why not fill in the blank? But here's the spread I calced up. This spread guaranteed walls any Lapras. We can remove the screens, and we can potentially 3-hit KO non-max Lapras with Psychic. We can also one-shot. We can 2-shot Alolan Persian. We can 2-shot Conkeldurr. We one-shot Sandaconda. We one-shot Weezing. And we do significant damage to Togedemaru. We do significant damage to Necrozma. And I can spin. What? Oh no, spin was so I could actually get some extra damage. Because funny enough, I actually wanted to get some extra damage with spin. That's why I was running a minus speed nature. And originally, like I said, I had Ice Shard on it, so I didn't actually change the nature. But I actually didn't mind the fact that if I got a spin off, I could do some extra damage. And Slack Off is there because that'll help us stall out the not only the Aurora Veil, if he gets into Lapras and sets it back up, because Screen Cleaner only works when you switch in. Screen Cleaner doesn't work every turn that you're in. So, but with this spread, we wall any variant of Lapras, and we wall any variant of non-banded Sandaconda. If he's banded Sandaconda, that's another story. We could be in trouble with that one. But that also means he's not a Scarf, which means that he's not a threat to Keldeo, which is good. Now, the next one I decided to finish up was my Gardevoir, and this is going to look pretty strange because I'm not actually creeping any particular thing, but we're going to run 60 in HP, going to run 4 in Spadef, max special attack, modest. And we're running 188 in speed and the other 4 in speed F. And the reason why I'm running this is because, for one thing, we're running Twisted Spoon, which means we're running Psychic, running Substitute, and running Wish. Now, there's some reasoning behind this. For one thing, we're creeping a I believe we're creeping Adamant Sandaconda with this set. Yes, we're creeping Adamant Sandaconda with this set because if we trace Prism Armor from Necrozma, he actually cannot kill us, and if he's taking some shit, like say a couple rounds of Toxic Spikes, if he's an offensive set without any much bulk investment, we actually blow him away with the Moonblast. So I'm not worried about Necrozma. And if Sandaconda comes, it's not going to be Jolly. And if it's Jolly, then while it outspeeds us, it can't kill us in one hit with anything, even unless he's got Iron Head. But if he's got Iron Head, then and he's faster than us, we can scout. We can kind of we can pivot around that a little bit. Keldeo instantly threatens it if he's locked into it, which I do expect. I could potentially see a Scarf Sandaconda that gave me problems in mocks. Bandit was a little bit more threatening too, but Scarf was really annoying. Like, it could potentially clean versus my team if I don't have my answers for it. So, but what this set accomplished is it's a nice breaker in a way for me to get around Conkeldurr. It kind of disrupts Conkeldurr from doing work. I can also switch it on Lapras pretty easily. We can sub on it. We can Wish. Really what I'm expecting this thing to do is to stop Wheezing and to stop Sandaconda if it's a defensive Sandaconda. It also gives me a way so that I can instantly threaten things like Alolan Persian if he thinks I'm going to be Scarfed. I can threaten things like yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm creeping Adamant Sandaconda. But anywho, so that was the whole point behind this set. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, I just wanted to be sure that I could get as much damage out as possible. I could have run Timid with enough. I could have run max speed to creep Necrozma, but then this just lost a lot of power, and Psychic does a huge number to this team overall. Like, if I remember correctly, Twisted Spoon's modest Psychic actually OHKOs a max HP Sandaconda. Like, that's how stupidly strong this thing is. And that was kind of the point. I just wanted to do big damage. Oh, also, it gives me a decent way to handle Drampa. While yes, I've got Keldeo and Mr. Rime, if Drampa gets a hit off on them, it's going to hurt. Gardevoir can take a hit pretty easily. I mean, yeah, Mr. Rime's here, but Gardevoir does it better. So the last Mon was up in the air. I had more Pico for a while and I had something else. I had Ice Shard instead of Spin on Mr. Rime. I had more Pico on here for a while, running Heavy Duty Boots with Spin 3 attacks, or Spin 2 attacks and Parting Shot or something like that. But at the end of the day, it didn't quite accomplish, and it invited in Conkeldurr pretty much for free, whereas none of the rest of my team currently does. And I wanted to continue that theme because Conkeldurr is such a huge threat to my team that if I let it run away, it just sweeps me, and it doesn't even have to be faster than me. And all he has to do is remove Gardevoir and this last Mon to kind of do that, and to weaken my Mr. Rime. So the last Mon was also my check to Scarf Sandaconda, because he has to lock himself to Iron Head to do anything, and if he Scarf Sandaconda, he can't outspeed me. So we're running Scarf Ribombee this week, obviously with Shield Dust because we don't want to get flinched. This also gives me a good check to Scarf Togedemaru, or at least like I guess, and I wouldn't say a check, but if it's weakened, I can kill it. We're gonna run Moonblast, Bug Buzz. I believe my last move was Psychic as well. Yep, Psychic hit Wheezing. And then the last move I had to decide between Aromatherapy and Sticky Web, or Baton Pass, or U-Turn. But here's what I decided as far as spread goes. We are running Max Special Attack Modest Ribombee, okay, with 228 EVs in speed, and the rest in 2 HP. Why this spread? Because this creeps Rapidash. Alolan Persian isn't staying in on me. There is no Alolan Persian that stays in on a Ribombee. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for it to, therefore it shouldn't, therefore it won't. So every time it does, we just get some free damage on whatever comes in. If it means breaking the sturdy on Togedemaru, so be it. Now, this last move, I decided since we had the team together, I really did not want to have to suffer from things like burns or toxics, or God forbid if sleep powder happens with Butterfree. No. This thing also gives me a good check to as a backup check to Quiver Dance Butterfree. So we're running aromatherapy because I wanted to have a last ditch effort to get Melmetal healed if it was burned, or if any of my team got glared by Sandaconda. So yeah, that was kind of the thing, and that's kind of how this team. That's how I built the team. It's pretty straightforward. Essentially, the whole point of this game is to weaken his team for Keldeo or Gardevoir or Ribombee to win. Melmetal's going to be doing a decent bit of breaking, because honestly, what I needed to do is I needed to check Togedemaru and I needed to check Mimikyu. Everything else is really kind of it's kind of bad against, but Double Iron Bash still hurts like a mofo, so it's big. It's no big deal. Keldeo is here to disrupt Lapras, to disrupt Sandaconda, to kind of just cause some havoc. Gardevoir is here to disrupt Conkeldurr, Sandaconda, Weezing. Mr. Rhyme is to get rid of webs, or not webs, but screens. I totally just failed in this. We need to give you guys names here, son. We need to give names. You're a Metaton. We got... Oh, and you're supposed to be shiny. What the heck am I thinking, friends? Help. It's Megan. Mr. Rhyme is Sans. Sorry. Goldfish is still the GOAT. Don't you worry. And our last mon is Faith the Ribombee. Now that's the thing, is I kind of don't expect Ribombee to last this game. My whole point in Ribombee is to make sure that if I can get Togedemaru into range of any one of its moves, that I use Ribombee to kill Togedemaru. Because as soon as Togedemaru is gone, Gardevoir can win the game pretty easily. I just need to get... My goal is to get Toxic Spikes up and to start disrupting his team. Because if you notice, all these submons love when other mons are poisoned. And so we're spamming... that's kind of the point, is we're kind of spamming Substitute with this team. In the event that... like, we can just really get away with it. Now, the funny thing is if Conkeldurr is poisoned and he goes for, and he's like in a range where he's going to die to poison the next turn, and he goes for a last-ditch Mach Punch effort to get my Gardevoir, that's why I have Substitute. And also, it gives me a way to kind of scout an ease prediction, but really that's the point, is that if he goes for last-ditch Mach Punch, I sub up on it as he dies, and then he's got to essentially sack another Mon. Because the only other Mon that can really threaten me would be either Mimikyu or Togedemaru, and this also makes sure that Butterfree, if it does come, is not a free switch in to try and put me to sleep. Granted, I do outspeed max speed modest Butterfree, so I'm not too worried. Also, Butterfree does absolutely 0 to Melmetal, so I'm not worried about that. Coolfish can handle Butterfree. Keldeo can honestly handle Butterfree in a way, unless it's running Quiver Dance. But I don't see Butterfree coming either, just because of the fact that actually, even if he gets to +1 Mr. Rhyme to it KOs, Melmetal kills like 12 of them with 1 Double Iron Bash hit, so it's no big deal. But yeah, that's the team, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the team. I really quite enjoy building this team, and we should be battling. You'll see this go up today, and then my battle with Brendan will be tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the battle. Goodbye.